morning, everybody. Everybody's surfing well. It's Friday, beautiful day. I wanted to talk about quitting smoking, how I quit smoking, why I quit smoking, and all the other questions that go with the not smoking anymore sort of vibe. And a friend came up to me the other day and said to me he was going to consider quitting smoking, and I tried to give him my best advice in a couple of minutes, and it's quite difficult, really difficult to quit smoking. You know, some people might not find it that difficult to quit smoking, but I found it quite difficult to quit smoking. And how I did it was, you know, I had to sort of like blag my way out of it. You know, basically I had to convince myself out of it, like proper just blag my way out of the fucking thing. And when I come to stop smoking, I realised that it wasn't just the physical addiction to nicotine. It was also, you know, the unconscious behaviour around the oral fixation. You know, having something to fiddle with in my hand, like constantly holding my e-cig, or constantly having something like chewing gum or sweets, boiled sweets. You know, anything just to sort of like for me, I like sit there like biting my lip or biting my nails, so to speak. You know, a lot of these traits that come from, like, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's restlessness, but it's very similar to restlessness. You know, just that ability to just sit and do nothing. Because when I sit and do nothing, my first intention is to like go for my pocket, look for my e-cig, or go and look for my phone to see if I've got any messages or on my phone or anything, or sit there like biting my lip or biting my nails. And it's because I have this inability to sort of sit still. And I slowly realised, you know, that my smoking would come like, it was like two parts, because not only did I have this like thing where I had to like fiddle and sort of like have this oral fixation, but I had the physical addiction to nicotine as well. And you know, when you start to come off nicotine, that you do have withdrawal symptoms. You know, and I read up about the withdrawal symptoms and educated myself around that. But my first thing that I needed to stop doing, and this is how I found out how fucking cunning this shit is, you know, when it comes to quitting smoking. Because everyone thinks it's like, oh, I just quit smoking, you know, just stop doing it, and it's not as easy as that. So what I did is, I've not smoked cigarettes for a long time. You know, I was one of them people that went from smoking cigarettes going on to the vapes because I was sick of smoking, and that was my sort of like justification or way out. And the e-cigs was twice as worse as the tobacco, because I was smoking it even more. Everywhere I fucking went, you know, I couldn't even go to the toilet without taking my e-cig with me. And I'd sit smoking it in bed, you know, I'd smoke it in car, and literally I'd smoke it fucking everywhere. You know, I couldn't even have a fucking 2-minute conversation with somebody without pulling my e-cig out, smoking that. You know, it like tied into my social life, and you know, all them behaviours of like, you know, having it on my break or having it after something to eat, and always like routine, or get in my car, start smoking, go to the toilet, start smoking, sit reading a book, smoking, cup of coffee, smoking, you know, having a conversation, smoking, going outside for a break, smoking. You know what, all these things would involve smoking. I couldn't go anywhere without my e-cig, and I was always like, shit, where's my e-cig? Like having this like panic mode all the time, getting my car on where to work, and I'd be like, shit, fucking hell, what have I done with that? And I'm like this, like rooting. Yeah. I fucking know that you can identify with that. And it was harder for me because I smoked it everywhere, and because I had this behaviour of constantly putting something in my mouth, constantly smoking on something, I had this action to get rid of. You know, I had to get, and I didn't realise that this was addictive. This was like a subconscious behaviour. It wasn't a physical addiction to nicotine. It was a subconscious programming that I'd done with this behaviour, if you understand what I mean. And I only noticed this when I turned to nicotine replacement products. And first of all, I come off the cigarettes and I went onto the vapes, and I've tried all that nonsense of like, because that's what it is, it's nonsense, right? I've tried all that bullshit of vaping from 20 mg going down to 10 mg, going down to 5 mg, and then trying to snap off, and that was graft for me. You know, I'd always end up back on the 10 mg, then I'd think, oh fuck it, and I'm borrowing my mate's 20 mg because I've ran out, and it was just like no progress whatsoever. I was still smoking. It doesn't matter how much I'm smoking, I'm still smoking, you know. And I had to stop the smoking. And what really helped me at the time, was going on to nicotine replacement products. So I went onto these sprays, and I started on the sprays because the sprays were quite potent. They was very strong, exactly the same as the vape. They were 20 mg, and the sprays were 2 mil or 20 whatever they was. And I started on the sprays, and 1 or 2 sprays, every time I wanted a fag or every time I wanted to get my e-cig, I'd have to sit and wait, and before you know it, the cravings had passed. And I got used to using them sprays. Them sprays are very effective, but they're very strong. And I sat there and I sprayed loads underneath my tongue once, and fucking I nearly overdosed on nicotine. I was like, heart palpitations, sweating profusely, like it was like really bad. And I realised how strong this nicotine was in this spray form, and I sort of like chilled out on it anyway. I'd given myself a week on them, right? But I ended up going 2 weeks. I gave myself a week, but I ended up going 2 weeks. So I wanted to get off thingy. Within that first week, the first couple of days was really hard for me, because I was still going like this, rooting round for my vape. I was still looking for something to put in my mouth, and I had that agitation of needing that fixation of doing something with my fingers. Eating boiled sweets, chewing gum, sort of sorted this out, you know, this oral fixation that was going on. I always had chewing gum in my car. I always had a massive fucking amount of fucking Imperial mints in my centre console, and I was chewing the Werther's Originals. Right, you meant to suck the fuckers. I was chewing Werther's Originals like they were going out of fashion, mate. Right, because I knew that it was going to be graft, but I had to change my behaviour around smoking, not just like a physical addiction to nicotine. I needed to change my behaviour, right? And once I started to change my behaviour with this constantly hand to mouth action all the time, rooting for my e-cig, I'd not physically smoked an e-cig or put something or anything inside my lungs in a smoking fashion, right, for 2 weeks. But every single time I picked up a cup of coffee, I would look for my e-cig. It was a subconscious behaviour. It's a behaviour pattern that's written. It's a program that my body and my mind runs subconsciously. So every time I would drink coffee, my mind would go, where's my e-cig? And I'd not physically had an e-cig for 2 weeks. So I decided to go another week, because I knew that I needed to stop this. When I stopped looking for my e-cig in my pocket, when I stopped looking for my e-cig in my car, and I keep reminding myself, Neil, I don't smoke anymore. Neil, you don't smoke anymore. I will see a pattern in my behaviour change, and I realise that a day or two will go by where I've not reached for my e-cig, I've not looked for my e-cig, because the program's starting to fucking be removed. I'm starting to do a new program. Every time I want a fag, I'd have a little bit of a spray of that nicotine in my mouth, which would taste horrible, then I'd chew about 30 Werther's Originals or a fucking million fucking Imperial mints to sort of like keep this going, chewing gum, right? Because I'm one of them. I'm a fiddler, and my behaviour sort of went out into other things, you know. I'm like constantly looking at my phone, I'm biting my nails, as I said, I'm doing all sorts, I'm playing with my beard, and I'm looking for this fixation with my fingers and my mouth, this hand to mouth action. but that subconscious behaviour I needed to change first. I will sort my physical addiction to nicotine out later, you know, but I can't sort my physical addiction to nicotine out when I'm still subconsciously running the same behaviours when it comes to smoking. And I needed to get rid of this first, this hand to mouth action of constantly putting something in my mouth, because that's a behaviour pattern. So I fixed that first. Took about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks. I was still on very high doses of nicotine, which was also the same dosage of what I was doing when I was smoking e-cigs, you know, but I'd not sorted that out. I just wanted to sort the problem of that hand to mouth action. I hope you get that. Once I realised that I was no longer looking for my e-cig anymore, and I was constantly thinking, I knew that then I was ready to sort of start weaning off nicotine products. And basically, it's just like being on a script. I want to wean myself off. I slowly reduce. I don't give myself a hard time and try and snap off and cause myself loads of unmanageability, cause myself that irritable, restless and discontent stuff. I slowly wean myself off. And I walked into the thing and I tried the chewing gums, and the chewing gums didn't work for me. So I stick with the spray, but I decided to sort of like try and use the spray, but less. Only use it after meals, or I'd have a timer on my phone so I'd do it every hour and a half. And that sort of like worked for a while, but didn't work because I'd sort of like lag it at fucking 50 minutes in and stuff like that, and you know, and so I decided to change my actions again, and I decided to change my products again. And I went into the shop to get some stuff, to get some nicotine replacement products, and I ended up stumbling upon a box in the reduced section of the thing. It's like these products are reduced in this reduced basket, and it was nicotine mints, and it was 2 milligram, and I couldn't believe it. I thought, all right, the 2 milligram. So these was like little tiny mints, and I thought they were replaced the Werther's originals, and it was really cheap. I got them for about 6 or 7 quid for a box of about 100, and I started eating them. And you know what, I was constantly, because it sort of like, it took the edge off the nicotine, the craving for nicotine, and I had this mouth thing, you know, constantly eating sweets, so that was sort of like helping, and it really helped for me. You know, I went through a fucking million of them. I went through a million of them. You know what I did? Because I was on a journey. It wasn't just like snap off, I'm done. I was on a journey, and I wanted sustainable results. You know, I wanted to change my behaviour, which takes time. The physical addiction to nicotine I needed to wean off. So after eating them 2 mil mints for quite a long time, you know, I'd say about a month I was on them mints, maybe even longer, and I was ups and downs, and one day it got to the point where I said to myself, right, these things come in like a strip of 10, so I'm going to say, right, I'm going to watch how many of these I'm eating, because at first I wasn't asked about how many I was eating, because I was happy not to be fucking smoking anymore. I was like, progress, I've not got this fucking e-cig stuck to me fucking hand, constantly fucking chonging it everywhere I fucking go, my car being like a fucking hot box. I was just glad of that. I was glad that I was like, thank fuck I'm not fucking hanging on to that fucking adult life fucking dummy anymore. And I was just like, progress. And I stuck with the mint for a while, but then I sort of like, one day I said to myself, all right, reminding myself that I'm on this journey, I want to stop smoking, blah blah blah. And I started to look and watch how many of these mints I was actually eating, and you know, I decided, so I was going through fucking quite a lot of them, and I'd say about 20-25 mints per day. So I said to myself, all right, tomorrow I'm gonna do like 15. I'm gonna make them last. So I made 15 last, and then a day after, like a couple of days after, like, all right, that wasn't too bad. I'm gonna try and do 10 today. And I did like 10 mints, and I did that for a while. I stayed at like 10 mints for a while. I'd take a strip of them out with me every day, and I'd sort of like just have one every couple of hours or something. And I realised that, you know, I wasn't looking for my e-cig anymore. I wasn't constantly panicking that I'd not got anything on me, and I'd be able to leave me mints in my car, and I'd sort of go to care every now and again and grab one of these mints. And I'd run out of mints. I ran out of mints, and I said to myself, right, I want to go to this shop, and I'm going to buy myself some mints, because I can't just snap off the mints. I knew that I was just early days, you know. I was very vulnerable, I was very impressionable, I was still around people who smoked all the time, and I knew that if I didn't get the mints, I'd be back on the vape in no time, because them fucking vapes, they're Moorish, you know, that all them bright colourfuls, fucking ice, mango, and all, it draws me in like a fucking moth to a fucking light bulb, right? And I knew that, so I went back to shopping anyway. I went back in and I walked into the chemist. You won't fucking believe it. I looked in the reduced aisle, and there was another box of mints, and it wasn't 2 mil, there was 1 mil, and I thought, you can't fucking write this. And you can buy these. It was just coincidence how I went into the chemist and I found these 1 milligram tablets. So I started smashing them, and I thought, even more progress. I don't give a shit how many of these I'm eating. I'm off the 2 mil ones and I'm on the 1 mil ones. You know, that's progress again. So we're just smashing them all day. I don't give a fuck about how many I was eating, because I got a box of them, and there's about fucking 300 in this box. And I started eating them, and eventually it got to the point where I was just having like, I was taking a strip of them with me every day. You know, long story short, I got down to like a strip, 2 strips of them. I had like half strips all over my car, and I like really looking around my car for fucking half a strip, you know, to pop a few of them. And you know, one day I just had enough. And I still had quite a few left, and I still had quite a few of this box left. And I thought, you know what, tomorrow's the day. No, this is what happened actually. Before we go on about that, I woke up one morning, and this was like when I was on the 1 mil ones. I woke up one morning and I said to myself, I'm just not going to have one this morning. And I didn't have one. And I had a cup of coffee, and I went till about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I get up at quite early, you know, I get up at 6. So I'd been like quite a few hours without any nicotine. And I went till about 10 o'clock. And then when I had the first one, I noticed that I'd want more all day. So I realised, and then someone said to me, oh, the first one does the damage. And I thought to myself, do you know what? It's right. Once I have that first mint, I'll continue eating mints for the rest of the day. And that stuck with me for a couple of weeks. And I sort of like tried to like stretch my morning off, you know, like, don't smoke in the morning for as long as you can, and you'll realise how long you can actually last. Once you start smoking, then you'll continue to smoke progressively all day. I wanted to get that in there. I nearly missed that out of this video, but that's very important. The first one always does the damage. Once I pick nicotine up, I'll continue to try and keep the levels of nicotine at a level all day, you know. So when I realised that, I decided, right, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. Because when I didn't smoke, I'd noticed other cravings would want to come in. I'd noticed that I would root for other stuff. I'd crave for like biscuits and sweets and toffees, Werther's Originals, Mint Imperials, anything that was sweet and tasty, you know, and eating excessively. All things, all like counter products from not smoking anymore. And I decided tomorrow I'm not going to have any nicotine products. I chucked all my nicotine shit in the bin, everything, all my nicotine replacement products in the bin. I chucked them all in the fucking bin. I locked the fucking door. And when I woke up the morning after, I knew that I was on a journey. I knew that I'd made a milestone in my recovery. I knew in my recovery towards nicotine, my recovery towards not smoking anymore. And this is what I allowed myself to do. I allowed myself a couple of weeks to eat what the fuck I want, when I want, have anything that I need required when it comes to sweet, sugary stuff. I do whatever the fuck I want and eat whatever the fuck I want, as long as I didn't use any nicotine products. And that morning when I woke up, I didn't go to work. I locked myself in my house. I put fucking movies on all fucking day. I had pizza and ice cream for my breakfast, and I'm not lying. I had pizza and ice cream for my breakfast, right? And then I got a takeaway in the afternoon, and then I got another fucking Uber at night time. I had a little fucking nap in the afternoon, and I went to sleep that night, and I fucking didn't sleep that well, but I just ate my way into a fucking food coma and fell asleep. I woke up the following morning, and for the first time in over 15, nearly 15, 16, maybe 17 years, I'd not used any nicotine for 24 hours. And when I did that one day, that 24 hours, I knew it was possible. All I need to do is just repeat the process. Once I've gone a full day without doing something, that's all I've got. And I had no excuses anymore. I'd done a full day, and that's all I have. All I ever have in my life is today. Once I'd done full day without smoking or had any nicotine replacement products, I had no excuses anymore. But that's when the journey begins. All that stuff up to there, that's where the journey begins. Stopping smoking. That's my journey up to stopping smoking. Staying stop's the fucking problem, right? So I knew from then on that's going to be the difficult bit. And when you stop smoking altogether, you're not reliant upon substances or nicotine in order to change the way you think and feel when it comes to feeling a bit aggy and just having a fag and a fucking brew. And it's like, as I said, I allowed myself to just eat whatever I wanted. So I was smashing cream cakes, I was fucking McDonald's drive-thrus, mate, with the fucking McFlurries and all sorts of other stuff. And just allowing myself to eat whatever I want, because I knew I can scrub that up at a later date. But I want to get as far away as I can from this smoking shit. I give it about 3 weeks just eating shit, and I just got sick and tired of fucking eating shit all the time. I decided to think, but by then I'd not smoked for fucking 3 or 4 weeks. I'd not actually physically smoked for nearly 2 months. You know what I mean? And I'd been off nicotine replacement products for over 2 or 3 weeks. But every time I thought about using nicotine, every time I thought about smoking, every time I thought about, or I felt a bit aggy, I'd just go to the shop and get a Magnum. And I'm being serious. I'd just go to the shop, grab a Magnum, and I'd sit in my car and I'd just overindulge on fucking sweets and toffees, because I can fix that at a later date. You know, I'm here to fucking stop smoking. I'm here to stop doing something that I've fucking struggled to stop doing for nearly fucking 15, 16 years. And that's stop my physical addiction to nicotine. I'm about 9 months clean today, I think, from nicotine and any nicotine replacement products. I don't smoke anymore. I'm a non-smoker. You know how nice it is for me to say that. For me, you know how much that achievement is for me to say that. Not many people that I know don't smoke. Every single person that I spoke to about stopping smoking or trying to stop smoking still smoke. All the advice and the wisdom in the world come from people who have tried to stop smoking but still smoke. You know, and I'm just so fucking grateful to be free. That was my journey. That's how I dealt with mine. I wanted to just let people know that it's possible to stop doing that. You know, I might have in the beginning been swapping one thing for another, but you know, I find it so much easier to cut down on sweets and fucking toffees than what I did on fucking nicotine vapes and cigarettes. So if I want to fucking use sweets and toffees and Magnums and fucking McDonald's and McFlurries and all sorts of other shit and allow myself to eat nothing but fucking bullshit for a couple of weeks while I'm going through the aggro of fucking quitting smoking, I fucking will do. You know what I mean? And that's how I did it. That's how I quit smoking. And that's how I keep sustainable. And you know what? Even sometimes today, when my head starts telling me that it's okay to fucking start smoking, it's alright to have that one, let's go to the shop and grab a Magnum. You get one of them fucking millionaire Magnums, mate. By the time you've ate that, you won't be thinking about smoking. Trust me. Trust me. I sit there, and I've done it a million times, hey. I feel aggy, I feel restless, I feel a discontent. I'm done. Fuck today, I can't be arsed with anybody. You're pissing me off. They're a prick. I need a fucking fag. I miss me vape. Blah, blah, blah. Go to the shop, grab a Magnum. By the time I've finished that and took a couple of deep breaths, mate, life's better again. Trust me. Stay blessed, guys. I hope this helps somebody. I hope this encourages somebody to fucking stop smoking, because smoking, it's really fucking bad for you. You know, the truth of the matter is, it's not good for you whatsoever. That being said, if you really want to stop, you really want to stop. Another thing that I wanted to just advise people, like, this is my advice and my experience. Don't put yourself through loads of fucking aggro and grief trying to quit smoking only to start again. Because if you do that, then you'll have a really bad attitude towards not smoking anymore. Trying to cut off at an instant and going through all them feelings and emotions and fucking that restless, irritable and discontent stage of your life, and just completely not allowing yourself to do anything, and just expecting, like, just anchor on and hold on to your chair and trying to get it doesn't work. You know, we need to sort of like ease your way into this. Be nice to yourself. Because if you cause yourself a shitload of fucking unmanageability, discontent and discomfort trying to quit smoking, only to fall off and go back to smoking, then next time you've had enough of smoking, you want to quit again, you'll have a really bad attitude towards quitting. And that will continue to allow you to justify and rationalise and go, I'd rather just keep smoking rather than try and quit again because I don't want to go through all that shit again. That's just my experience. If you're going to do it fucking properly. Give yourself a break. And fucking have a fucking good go, man. Stay blessed, guys. I hope this has helped somebody.